Hey students, this is lesson 3.2, properties of parallel lines. We are going to learn how to prove theorems about parallel lines and to use properties of parallel lines to find angle measures. Go ahead and do the review here. You can check back for your answers. All right, some important concepts here. Important postulates of theorem. Check these out. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then corresponding angles are congruent. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then alternate interior angles are congruent. Same side interior angles are supplementary, and alternate exterior angles are congruent. We learned all that yesterday, or the other day when we were in the computer lab. So, according to postulate 3.1, corresponding angles are congruent. So angle 3 would be congruent to angle 1. According to theorem 3.1, alternate interior angles are congruent. So angle 3 would be congruent to angle 7. And according to theorem 3.3, alternate exterior angles are congruent, so angle 1 would be congruent to angle 5. All right, so we're going to use these ideas to help us figure out some angles and to do some proving here. Which angles measure 130 and 130? Well, according to the corresponding angles postulate, if two parallel lines, and these little arrows indicate that they're parallel, are cut by a transversal, then the corresponding angles are congruent. So the measure of angle 5 is equal to 130, and that's by the corresponding angles postulate. And another angle that would be equal to 130 is angle 4, and that's by the vertical angles theorem. And one other angle that would be equal to 130 would be angle 2, and that's from the alternate interior angles theorem. All right, I'll let you try that. All right, we're going to prove alternate angles. This is a proof of alternate interior angles theorem, and this can kind of give you an idea how we're going to prove some things. So what we're trying to do is, if we're given that these two lines are parallel, we're trying to prove that 4 and 6 are congruent. And one thing we can always use is the corresponding angles postulate is something we're just assuming is true, so we don't have to prove that. So if we just use vertical angles to show 2 and 4 are congruent, well, 2 and 6 are corresponding angles, so if 4 and 2 are congruent, then 2 and 6 are also congruent, and then we can use the corresponding angles postulate to show that the two lines are parallel, and that's shown here. All right, so let's do another one. Show you how to do another one here. So given that these two lines are parallel, we want to prove that angle 1 and angle 3 are supplementary. And the way we can do that is, first we'll just say that A is parallel to B, and that's our given. Then we'll say that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2. And that is, the reason for that is the alternate exterior angle theorem. So when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the alternate exterior angles are congruent. So now we have those two are congruent. Actually, we should say that they are congruent, not that they're equal. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And then we can say the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2. And that's by the definition of congruence. And then we're going to say that angle 2 and angle 3 are supplementary. And that's just the linear pair postulate. Okay, so angle 2, and since they're supplementary, we can say that if we add the 2 up, measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 will equal 180. And that's definition of supplementary. And then we can say the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 3 is equal to 180. And that's substitution. And then once we have all that, measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 3 equals 180, well then angle 1 and angle 3 are supplementary. And that's just the definition of supplementary angles. All right, so that's kind of the idea how we're going to do these. Go ahead and you try one. Okay, finding the measures of an angle. What are the measures of angle 8 and angle 4? Well, just looking at this diagram, notice there's 2 sets of parallel lines. So we can use either set of parallel lines and either of the other ones as transversal. So we could say that the measure of angle 8 plus 115 is equal to 180. And that's because those are same side interior angles, and same side interior angles are supplementary. So that's true. And then we can just say the measure of angle 8 is equal to 180 minus 115, which is 165. And then the measure of angle 4 is equal to 115. We can just say that right out because angle 4 and angle 115 are corresponding angles. So that would be because of the corresponding angles postulate. All right, you try that. I'm going to go back and just write in these reasons for you so you can use them on this next one. All right, problem 4, what is the value of y? Okay, we need to notice what are parallel, and so these 2 lines are parallel. This would be considered transversal. So this angle right here and this angle right here are congruent, but the ones that we want right here, this one and this one, together, those are same side interior angles, and they are supplementary, so we can say y plus 60 plus 50 is equal to 180, and that's because of the same side interior angles theorem. So we could just subtract 110 from both sides, and we get y is equal to 70. And we're using the same side interior angles theorem. All right, you try that. All right, that's it. Go ahead and do the lesson check and be ready to share that in class the next time we meet.